disaster class in Dortmund, squeaky bum time at Dingwall, and just a mini resurgence in the Welsh capital. Feels a lot less somber tones because we get that Dortmund pish out the way early. Morg, roll the jingle.
Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome back to the Football Booth Podcast, episode 9 of season 4. My name is Fennan, and joining alongside me once again, I've got two wonderful gentlemen. Mayhem, how are you doing, my friend?
Good, mate. Good.
In good spirits?
Yeah.
As good as they can be, I imagine.
Well, that's a good thing about football. You've another game to put the other one behind you. So, at the moment, we're heading into the beautifulness of the international break. Don't we love it? Absolutely. Top of the league. So, yeah, good spirits.
Good spirits indeed. And welcoming back, who was under the weather once again, and may have forgotten to tell him that we were recording one Tuesday evening. We got Baldy. How you doing, Gondor?
I'm alright, mate.
Yeah. You actually got to watch some football this weekend.
I did.
How did that feel?
I mean, let's be honest. Outside of the last 10 minutes of each game, each half, it wasn't that entertaining, was it?
I mean, we'll get onto it eventually, and I'll share my thoughts on what took place down in Ashton Gate. But we are going to start things off on a note that I didn't really want to start off, because I know we sat here last week and we were again. It's always the case though when Celtic go into Europe and they come up against a big side like Borussia Dortmund, where the hope is to not get absolutely humbled, and that's near enough what happened. It felt like it started off okay. Obviously, Days Maeda got the equaliser, and then I think pretty onwards from that, it was a bit of an eyesore to watch. But what were your thoughts on the result midweek?
Well, everyone can plaster me as plastic because I've seen that before, mate. So at 3-1 down, and the second penalty got given, just went off. I just wasn't in for. I haven't watched the highlights back. I haven't seen any of the goals, barring obviously the first three. That was enough pain, really. It's same old story, you know. And we're kind of dining out that Dortmund are Champions League finalists, and I've heard Brendan say it. And he's my pal again, so I'm not going to slag him too much. But that Dortmund team is shit, mate. Like, they had to recover the week before. They were 2-0 down at home in the Bundesliga. They had to recover to win 4-2. They were absolutely thumped by Stuttgart. They were beat by Union Berlin this past weekend. That is not the same Champions League team that was all conquering. Adeyemi, we made him look like prime fucking Eusebio.
Yeah. Hat-trick, didn't they? They look like his best performance I've ever seen.
I honestly couldn't tell you. Obviously, I see the one that he absolutely thundercunts in past Schmeichel. I don't look. Keepers get a hard time for it, but he hits it so hard, man. I don't think he can really do much about it. It was just poor. All across the board, barring one attack that made a kind of bundles in. So at least the travelling fans got to cheer something worth a merit, because after that it was all fucking downhill. But I said last week, I'm not going to get too down no matter what happens. We've got 3 points on the board. Will we be judged against what we do in Dortmund at this stage? No. If we got through to the knockout phases and it was a knockout tie, then obviously there would be harsher judgment. But with Atlanta away, that'll be another tough game. Then with Leipzig at home again, it'll be another tough game. Leipzig at home will be more on merit of where we'll be judged because we're at home. And then we've got Club Brugge, Dynamo Zagreb, young boys. They're the kind of games really that we have to zone in on and really hold ourselves accountable. But disappointing, obviously, to get absolutely scudded. But ultimately, it was. I don't want to say it was expecting to cop out on that. Like I said, I didn't think we would win, but I didn't expect us to go there and get absolutely thumped. But we've had Postecoglou, Rodgers, very, very good managers, but sometimes to be a bit stubborn. We see, obviously, we'll get onto it, but we see at Dingwall on Sunday, what being a wee bit more pragmatic can bring you. Whether we have the players for that or whether we just flat out refuse to do it. One of our greatest nights in Europe, and the reason that Tony Watt, even though he's been to 57,000 clubs, will never have to buy a pint in the vicinity of Celtic Park, certainly isn't his attitude towards the club, because that was stinking. But, he scores a goal on a night where we have 2 shots on target and we beat that Barca team. So, I get that things are different now. I get, that we want to go and we want to play, but sometimes you just have to understand where your limits are. And can we go and play that expansive football, even if it's a Borussia Dortmund side in transition, which they 100% are. Nuri Sahin as manager, Marco Royce has moved on, no more Mats Hummels, but still with players, real top pedigree European players. But again, like I said, that they'll not get anywhere near the final like they did last season. So, to try and dine out on the Champions League finalists when they're one of the most experienced players and captain is Emre Can, seems a wee bit daft. They've lost their left back as well. He's obviously at Villa now, that Ian Matson that took him all the way there. There's Schlotterbeck at the back, which is he's a decent defender, and obviously Kobel in net, which is he's a decent pedigree. But then going forward, that Garassi, I don't know a lot about. I know that he did all right at Stuttgart last year. Adeyemi, I can't say I've watched him enough, but he looked pretty decent against us. But and then Julian Brandt, who I'm pretty sure is just like Marco Royce's shit cousin. So, he was dancing through our whole midfield. But let's not pretend that, they're an absolute elite European club at the moment because they're in the Champions League final last year. They're not. That they'll be, I'm sure they'll be over the moon if they get to the quarterfinals because, certainly defensively their frailties were there to see as well. And the days of Maeda, from what I watched, it may have got progressively worse. Like I said, I wasn't putting myself through that kind of pain. But he certainly had the right back on toast. Probably should have utilised that a wee bit more. But I imagine once it gets deeper into the competition, we'll see how poor a result this is because we won't have the dying out factor of look how far they've gone. I'm sure they'll come up against one of the English teams or one of the Spanish teams or one of the Italian teams and take a real thumping.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, the response off of that result was pretty animated as well, where there was a lot of fans even calling for Rodgers to be sacked, which I just thought was utter gob.
See that kind of comment, mate. Undercovers, mate. Not undercovers, undercovers. Because that's exactly. That's what they want, mate. They've got a manager that's doing a fucking can impression at a press conference over a John Suter fucking penalty, and they're desperate for Rodgers to walk away. No matter how bad it gets, mate, what they need to remember is we are to them what Borussia Dortmund are to us.
Mm-hmm.
Brendan's going nowhere. I don't know, maybe unless the Man United job comes up, that sounds like a job you might like. But at the moment he's going nowhere. He's gone and he's spent money that literally ensures for the next year, 2 years at a minimum, that they're nowhere near us. So, I didn't go on social media. I didn't want to see the fallout from it. Peeked a bit on social media, see a lot of comments being deleted after Leon turned up in Glasgow.
And they definitely did.
But this is where you get marked. This is where you ultimately get judged as a Celtic player. And for far too long, no matter what team it's been, no matter how many trebles and how dominant we've been domestically, we've been under par in Europe. And I do just think there's a real mental block, where we almost have ourselves written off mentally, before going into these ties. And it's been a long, long time since we've had any kind of notable progression in Europe. So dust ourselves down and get back on the horse away at Atlanta, who are a decent team. And they'll certainly be a tough test as well. So hopefully we've learned our lessons and we've learned them quickly. And we can go and put in a far better performance. The international break coming at a decent time for us. Hopefully we can get Cameron Carter-Vickers back. Not to say that he would have made any massive difference, but we're just such a stronger outfit when he's in the back line.
No, he definitely is 100%. And look, early days when it comes to the Champions League campaign, you definitely got easier teams. All due respect, coming up.
And if he says, right, you'll have 3 points on the board out of your first 2 games, we would have took it. We would have hoped that we wouldn't. We would have hoped we wouldn't have shipped 7 or whatever it was in the end, in one game. But we would have took it. So we won the game we expected to. We probably overperformed in that game, and then we underperformed in the other game. So sort of middle of the road, on to Atlanta next, and then Leipzig.
Yeah, and then you also, like you said, you also saw those, the fragments of the after effects from that Dortmund game in that Ross County game, and I mean, thankfully, Alistair Johnson and Nicholas Kuhn pop up late in the second half to keep that 100% record in place for Celtic, and so like I said, there's silver linings all round where you've only played 2 games. A game, like you said, where you absolutely pasted Slovan Bratislava and then, underperformed in Dortmund, but at the same time, you still managed to been able to retain the standards domestically and keeping Rangers at bay. And, I mean, by all means, at the moment, it's Aberdeen who are on your toes at the moment. And so, props to them as well.
They're flying. Got a really good win. Scored a late goal against Hearts as well. It's always nice to hear the pain. I listen to a YouTube channel. I'm not shouting at because he's a fucking closet.
Yeah, we know.
Cream bun.
Bun.
But he's a Hearts fan, so it was absolutely glorious to hear his pain. And anyone that follows Scottish football will know exactly who I'm talking about. But it was absolutely glorious to hear his pain after the result of Pittodrie. But no, look, I think our standard did slip at Dingwall. I don't think in the first half we were anywhere near it. And I think Brendan called it out, said that we were slow, we were passive. Nicholas Kuhn even called it out in his post-match press conference that we needed to work on a few things. And the thing that's been regurgitated and repeated many times post-match and by every match reaction and pundit, the subs had a massive impact. Paulo Bernardo come on, Arnie Engels was really off it. Luke McCowan come on, he was fantastic. And this was a fella that people turned their nose up at. People did not like the fact that people were paying Dundee £1 billion to bring this guy in. And I was on board with it. I remember the pain of watching John McGinn sell down south for $3 million. I think the next time that this opportunity comes up, we need to do it. Look at Scott Brown. Look at Barry Robson. Look at the success that we've had in this market before. If a player is good enough, then we just go buy him. And we're working in the Scottish market. We're never going to be breaking the bank. And he was fantastic, and he's been brilliant. Every time he's come on. You see him at the St Johnstone game as well. He looks so sharp. He looks so fit. He looks so up for it as a Celtic fan as well. That cliche is always thrown around like, he knows the expectations and he knows the club and all this kind of carry on. But every time he gets on that field and he's wearing the hoops, he really looks like he's honoured and he wants to put everything into the game. He was fantastic when he come on. Really upped the tempo, up the whole standard. And I'll be honest, you always kind of have the feeling when you're one down at these places where if we can just get one, Ross County have a horrific record this season of conceding late goals. Yeah. I think Aberdeen and Hearts and probably other places. I think I saw a stat while we were playing them. They've conceded 3 goals in the first half and something like 13 in the second half. And I would love to know how many of those are late goals that impact results because they've really let themselves down towards the back end. So you always kind of thought if we can nick one here, I think just the pressure and, the fact it's us and we're here and it could potentially get a point will tell. And that came, Kyogo come on, darts to the front post for a corner, gets a flick on it, keeper kind of parries it away. Callum McGregor hits a shot and Alistair Johnson said he was trying to get out of the way, but thankfully hits his thigh and flies into the net. That gets us back to 1 each, and then you could just tell that things were starting to build. People complaining about the free kick that Celtic got. The free kick is in fucking our own half. The way they're talking about it, you would think we get a free kick 15 yards from goal and we score from a direct free kick. The free kick is in our own half, and we take it and we play quickly and we score off it. I mean, just how dog shit your team has to be for you to give a shit about a free kick being given in our own half, and they're saying that's the reason we score from it when we've literally played from our own half up and Nicholas Coon's gone and scored the goal. That fucking brutal. But yeah, Alistair Johnson, after beautifully finishing that one expertly with his fire, threads a lovely ball through. Nicholas Coon's been a man absolutely possessed this season, and he squares the defender up, shifts it onto his left and bends it in. A bit of muted celebration for me because the camera angle thing was so shit. It was hard to see it had gone in.
It was, it was. I think that was for both goals. To be honest, you could barely tell. It was only from the away end whether or not the ball had hit the back of the net. And I must say, did enjoy the limbs for the Nicholas Coon goal.
I enjoyed Chris Boyd as well, absolutely fucking crying about Nicholas Coon not getting a second yellow. Like, again, how dog shit does your team have to be to start fucking bringing this shit up? I noticed that when he was talking about Kasper Schmeichel, obviously saves the penalty, comes off his line. He didn't mention last week when Jack Butland come off his line for the Hibs penalty. I was going to
say, that's something that doesn't really quite get flagged enough.
Well, whenever they played Hibs, I don't know if it was last week now, but nobody come off his line for that one. And there was encroachment into the box for the Hibs one by a Rangers player. Nothing was given. VAR missed it. Honest mistake. Cross my heart. Hope to die. But look, that's what champions do. If when you're not at full potential, when you're not playing to your max, when you're just back off of that, European game, and there is a bit of a hangover, then you dig in, and your big players come to the forefront, and that's exactly what happened. 7 out of 7. Kasper's finally conceded a goal, and it was the wee fella Howe that scored as well. He was signed from Cliftonville. Big Celtic fan as well. So what the fuck you at, mate? Should have blazed it over the bar. Shocking behaviour.
Didn't get the memo, did he?
No, I mean, his name's Howe as well. How? Come on, the fuck, man. You need to be sticking out into the stratosphere. But yeah, ultimately, look, I think this game was always get it won, get into the international break, reset,
dust off, and go again,
and come back fresh, or as fresh as you can be from obviously a lot of travelling for the international teams. But yeah, a good reset. They've got a bounce game in down in Sligo through the week, so that'll be good to get some minutes into the legs of some of the players that aren't away and aren't playing as much. Ultimately, dust ourselves off. It was a tough midweek, and we've finished the week the way that we want to. So overall, happy. You can't not be happy. A perfect start to the season. We're in a semi-final of the cup. We're a perfect start. We're in a neck and neck tight race with Aberdeen. We've some wee club chasing Aberdeen as well, trying to battle our way for fucking Champions League qualification, opening their mouth every time they fucking beat St Johnstone. So it's good crack up here. You know what I mean? We've got fucking Hearts that are rock bottom of the league. I don't know if they are rock bottom league now. I need to fact check.
They are rock bottom. 2 points, 2 draws.
Fucking beautiful. Do you want to know one of those draws was against? That's how fucking shite you are, man. I forgot.
They've also played a game more than you have as well.
No, man, they're absolute mincemeat.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the fact that St Johnstone are so bad,
St Johnstone have a win.
So bad.
Yeah,
but they are. Honestly, St Johnstone are the worst team in this league. If it wasn't for the fact that St Johnstone are that bad, Hearts would go down. But they'll catch St Johnstone. I mean, anyone would catch St Johnstone. They're fucking brutal.
Then to top it all as well, going into international break, and we know something that always gets your spirits high. Steve Clark ball. Hey. No. All right, so we're going to move on.
I've had enough depression, man, if you're watching that game. Fucking hell.
Yippee.
Happy days. I'm buzzing for it. Is it qualifiers? Is it friendlies? Is it fucking
It's
UEFA Nations bollocks?
It's Nations League crap again.
The problem with Scotland is Steve Clarke and his brutal style of football has got too many wins, and we're in with the fucking big boys now. So, that 5 at the back pish when, that we play so we can try and shoehorn Tierney in, but he's broke his fucking hip, so God knows when he's coming back. And then we're just playing a back 3 of fucking...
He's got a broken hip.
I don't know, he snapped something at the fucking Euros, didn't he? Hasn't been seen since. Rumours are he's still in Munich.
Wouldn't surprise me. That guy's glass bones and paper skin nowadays. I mean, nowadays for the last few seasons.
Yeah, we broke him now. Just played him far too much as a youngster. He's a good player, though.
Yeah, he's a good player. Yeah,
it's going to be a fantastic weekend for Scotland, though. Croatia and Portugal.
Wait, again? I swear they had Portugal in the last one, didn't they?
We didn't. Yeah, I think you play each team twice, don't you?
Yeah, you do. Fun times ahead.
The national anthem would be good. It's good, I know. So it's passionate.
Yeah. Then you turn it off.
Oh my God, Steve!
If you get a good result, you get a bit of ABBA at full time.
Please, Lord, if you want me to watch, just play 4 at the back, man. I'm playing so dumb, man. So done with being shit and not play. Like, let's pretend we're Tottenham, right? They're shit, but at least they play good football. All right. As Postecoglou's going to play in a fun style, right? They're doing shit at the moment and getting battered by fucking Brighton after being 2
up, yeah.
Like, come on, let's play a bit of fucking Steve Clarke ball, 4 at the back, running off the ball, high intensity press, and then at least when we lose, we can say, we have a go. See, when you get absolutely scudded and you've got 5 at the back, what's the point? Ryan Porteous.
Ryan Porteous. Fucking Ryan Red Card Porteous.
We'll have Billy Gilmore and Scott McTominay are best mates now because they both live in Naples. Fuck, man.
That was a proper... That was a weird signing. Scott McTominay going to Napoli.
Fucking Lyndon Dykes probably back up top with his big fucking New Zealand accent.
Odd fella, isn't he?
I wish he was so odd he didn't get picked anymore. He must have something on Steve Clarke, like.
Don't know.
And this is all before the games have happened. Everyone enjoy next week's episode.
Yeah, I know. Wait until we see the lineup and we endure 2 games of Steve Clarke ball.
At least hopefully next week the big segment will be on Bellamy ball and Wales, and we can gloss quickly over. No. See the problem is the man has slag Steve Clarke, and then he gets results and I look like a dick. I mean, so I absolutely.
I think either way, it's just getting you emotionally prepared for what could happen.
It's just I've slated him, and I'll probably go and beat Croatia and get a draw against Portugal, and I'll look like an absolute ball bag.
Oh yes, sir. Kabuki.
That song is restricted only for major tournaments. All right, there will be no singing of that unless we qualify for the World Cup.
Yeah. No, you'll definitely be boogieing then.
My first one since fucking '98, of course it would be. He's in to be like, if he... No, I'm not saying it. Move on.
All right, we'll transition over.
Cool.
Make our way down south. And there was a particular game that took... Well, I mean, if we can even go to Tuesday night last week, where I had one monitor with the Celtic game on, which of course was a huge disappointment. But on the other side, Cardiff Millwall, where we picked up our first win of the season. Good performance. Everything that I said about Perry and G last episode, all is forgiven. I'm sorry, Perry, I love you. Scoring the only goal in the game, and it was a very, very competent performance, I must say. I think we look good going forward. We look sturdy at the back, which is a fucking surprise to me. Pursued with Callum Chambers at the back, I don't think that guy's going to last longer. I really think going forward, when Darlin gets back to full fitness, I think him and Gutas are the way forward at the back. Honestly, I don't know. I could see why Callum Chambers has fallen off the face of the earth and was available there on a free. I think Celtic there dodged a bullet at the same time. Honestly, just not the same player as he once was. And this is a guy who's got most of his CV playing Premier League football, and the guy looks like a League One centre-back. But, thankfully, he was part of the defence and kept a clean sheet against Millwall, and Omar Reza got our first win of the campaign, and then we went down to Ashton Gate yesterday for our Tin Pot Derby, as you like to call it, Mayhem. Alongside you, Gondor, who also had the privilege of watching his first football game in the last 2 years. And
I wasn't lost. I watched City before that, so...
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you, Gondor, what were your thoughts?
I definitely have to agree with Chambers. He's a liability there. But I think Cardiff did well. They dictated play for the first half. And a good portion of the beginning of the second half, and then they took the players off.
Yes. I'm glad
And
you picked up on that as well.
from that moment on, Bristol just had control of the game. They could have easily put 3 or 4 in the net, and probably should have, to be honest.
Well, this is the thing. Yeah, no, Errol Bullock did the same thing last season when we went 1-0 up against Plymouth at home. Brings off our main attacking individuals who have been causing problems. Brings off Robbo, brings off Tanner, brings off El Ghazi as well, and just completely sucks the life out of us. And all of a sudden, we're on the back foot.
Yeah, and I have to say, I don't think that the changes that he made in that first swap were the smartest. He brought off El Ghazi on the 60.
It was around the 65th,
66th minute. Yeah. He brought off El Ghazi, and while we were watching it, you sat there and went, "Look at Tanner. He is wrecked."
Yeah, no, I know.
He if you're going to take off a winger, you bring off the one that's dead on his feet. You don't bring off the one that has made mistakes but still has a bit of fight left in him.
No, I know. But ultimately, there were changes that were made far too early in that game. These are changes that you make with 5-10 minutes to go.
I'd even push it to 15. I'd say last 15, pull back, because you guys lasted, what was it? You lasted nearly 10 minutes with this defensive formation. But if you've only got 15 minutes left to play, your opposition are going to be more knackered. They're not going to have as much push as they did on the 65th minute.
Well, but here's the thing, though. When again, Ollie Tanner, he loves a derby. He absolutely loves a derby, and I didn't even know he had a right foot. What a fucking finish! Fantastic finish. And again, sends the away end into raptures, and it honestly fucking seams in the away end. Should have a second 2 minutes later. Again, got them on the ropes, pressing them, and then Cole slips a ball to him at the back post, and I honestly, personally thought, take a touch, put it onto your left and bury it in the far corner. He obviously went with his right first time, near post, and he puts it over the bar. Unfortunately, I really thought, in that period, that's when you got to go and get another goal. It was going to be one of those games where we needed the second goal to kill the game off. Yeah. But unfortunately, Reza makes those changes too early. Again, sucks all the attacking intent out of our play going forward, and we invite pressure, and long and await the equaliser, Luke McNally, who honestly never seen a man with a longer neck than that bloke. Mate, looks like Beaker from the Muppets. Unbelievable neck on him.
Yeah, it's not natural.
It wasn't natural. Fucking gorm. And then the equaliser goes in, and then all of a sudden we find ourselves backpedaling and defending for our lives to, come away with a point. I think any point we did get forward after that didn't didn't look very convincing at all. Like I said, Robbo coming off, bringing on Wilfred, Lamppost, Kanga, and it was pretty much. It felt like we just got to take a point now, and so no, if you offered me a point at the start of the game, I would have been satisfied. But like I said, the circumstances of the match can always change your opinion. I really thought that was a game we should have won, but by all means.
Taking stock, 4 points out of the week.
4 points out of the week is fantastic.
Yeah, clean sheet against Millwall, and maybe that drives his confidence. And like you said, that it was a competent defensive performance against. Maybe that drives his confidence in. All right, we can see this. I just maybe it's the derby that I'm brought up on, but I hate any we're just going to defend this and I mean, let's be honest, Cardiff, you just don't like them, but it's one of those derbies where they care a lot more about it than you do. Obviously, the South Wales derby, that's a proper derby. Bristol Rovers are so shit that they never get to play Bristol City, so they've just got to stick on to the closest fucking team to them, like some Tim Pot leech.
Because Rovers are so far down.
We fucking hate Cardiff. Shut up, man, you irrelevant team. But away from home, take the point. As you've been to both of their grounds now and got a point. Now it's time to build and beat them both at home.
100%. But
I think it's just imperative now that I hate bringing this up because it's a weekly thing. But I guess we're in this phase at the moment with Cardiff where we can't help but not talk about it. But the board need to go out and they need to get a man in. Stop wasting time. With caretaker pish, right? Yes, he's had a couple of good results, but jump on that enthusiasm that hasn't been around the club since the start of the season, right? Bring someone in. I doubt they're going to go and get Nathan Jones. I just can't see Tan spending any sort of money on a manager, but go and bring in who's going to be your guy till at least February. With fucking Cardiff.
And it'll be Marisa, and that, like I said, I mean, this is the springboard reaction performances we're seeing at the moment. We'll be sitting here in December thinking, why the hell have we not hired someone? Why have we given it to Marisa until January? And then it'd be the Mark Hudson situation again. When we let him go in January, then we bring in someone till the end of the season. No, we need to act quickly and bring in a big name.
Get someone in. Get someone in. That is gonna implement a style that knows what they're doing. And no offense to Marisa, he's got 4 points out of the week. That's not to be sniffed at in the position that he took over, and he was getting more out of these players than clearly Bullet was. So fair play, but you've got to know the right time. Right? There's the balance, there's the enthusiasm. Maybe the club looks more of a prospect now than it did, sitting absolutely rock bottom of that table. Right, let's go out and say to someone, right, come in, implement your style, and allow this team to to get himself out of the mess that they've ultimately got himself into, and not get dragged in. That dogfight, man, that relegation dogfight is brutal if you end up in it. So you need to get
100%.
as far away. If you're in that dogfight, 10 games to go, every game starts to feel like it's a fucking derby. Every game has that importance where your heart palpitations going into the last 10 minutes if if it's a slender lead. So unfortunately this season doesn't look like it's going to amount to much, but and at this point with 10 games to go, you want to be safe and secure, and mid-table mediocrity, it's done and dusted, and you're just playing out the last few games of the season rather than having this absolute dogfight. So they need to go and get someone in, and they need to do it quickly.
100%. And I know there's a short list. Don't know what names are on there, and of course, speculation swirls around wherever you see it. And no, it's just a waiting game now. Whether Tan feels that the results that Marisa has got so far, that he decides to go with him. Don't get me wrong. I think Marisa has had some good results. I think he's really utilised what players we have at our disposal in terms of the youngsters. Like Cole starting week in, week out now. Tanner now getting a few starts. a resurgence in Joel Bagan at left back. It's refreshing to see, but again, it's like it's going to be the irrational thought of like, how long does this really last until we're getting, we're losing again and things start to get sour and toxic as it has done in the past.
And that's why you've got to, you've got to jump on this enthusiasm while you have it. Nathan Jones, I don't think would take a lot of persuading. I think your board would take a lot of persuading to go and get him because they have to pay money. But surely now, it looks probably look like an attractive job to him anyway. But instead of being absolutely rooted to the bottom with, totally cut adrift from the rest of their teams, yes, all right, he's still bottom, but level on points with Portsmouth, only 2 away from QPR, only 3 behind Luton. I mean, what the fuck's going on there?
The gap's really small amongst everyone else. It's not a big gap. Like, we can turn it around, but we just can't let us get to a point where a decision hasn't been made in terms of leading the team forward, and we find ourselves in this position come January, February time. And that's when panic stations come up.
Just to give you a heads up as well, Nathan Jones is only 7th favourite in the bookies list to be the new manager for Cardiff for this time.
Out of curiosity, who is the favourite?
Slaven Bilic.
Slaven Bilic? Fucking hell.
Omar Reason is second, and Stephen Schumacher is third.
Oh, okay.
Was he the one at Wednesday?
Yeah, he was at Stoke.
Yeah, Stoke.
Slaven Bilic, there was those great stories about how he used to smoke in the manager's office at West Ham. So,
he is an old shagger, I must say.
You've also got Ryan Lowe, Michael Beale, and Freya Alexanderson ahead of Nathan Jones.
Wait, you say Michael Beale?
Michael Beale, 8-1 favourite, 5th place in the bookies list.
My bollocks will fall off if he fucking take that twat on.
The other 2 in the bookies list are Mark Hughes and James Robury, but they're behind Nathan Jones.
The names that have come up are fucking wild. You know whose name came up the other day? Ryan Giggs.
He's not on the bookies list at the moment.
Thank fuck for that. I mean, don't get me wrong, the list doesn't sound good. Like
Is he at? Is he still on house arrest?
Oh, mate, I hope he is. I hope he's honestly on house arrest forever.
Now, look, I think Nathan Jones is obviously probably, I'm not much over Cardiff Twitter, but I would imagine that's the fans' pick, obviously, because of his success that he had with Luton, and then obviously managing in the Premier League with Southampton, and we know that didn't go to plan, but obviously, again, being a fan of the club. Also, his position in League One isn't as attractive as it was a few weeks ago. I think Charlton are down to 8th now, so it's not like they were up sort of in the playoff positions, pushing automatic promotion early doors. So that's dropped away a wee bit. So I don't think it's as completely unrealistic maybe as it would have been if they were flying high at the top. But yeah, just get it done. A bit of stability into the club, at least for a couple of months.
No, exactly. And the international break is the most ideal time to do it. Again, like, it allows the boys to again dust off, go again when we return home to Plymouth, who had picked up form under Wayne Rooney, surprisingly, but no, fair play to them. And then a bit of Bellamy ball in between to enjoy. So it's like I said, 4 points over the last week over those 2 games. More than happy. Of course, there's a small part of me that is a little bit deflated that we didn't take 3 against Bristol yesterday, courtesy of those changes coming too soon. But can't have it all. And 4 points sets us up quite nicely when we come back.
Indeed.
Right, you all set up? You ready to go?
I'm all ready to go.
Here we go. Those terribles.
Never gets old.
Never does.
All right.
I'm just going to fuck you up this week.
Let's hope for everything. So this week's Tenables. We've done the assist makers in the Premier League before, and before I rejoined the pod, I did the goal scorers with Fennon, but we're going to do something a bit different, and I'm asking for the top 10 goal contributions.
Goal contributions.
So assists and goals combined. The
All
clues you have today is I will tell you how many goal contributions they have made, how many matches they have played, or how many matches they have started, if you would prefer. And then if you really start struggling, I can give you how many goals or how many assists they made.
Or can we ask like the nationality of the player?
Let's say yes. Most of them, I believe, are English. Not all of them, but most of them.
Okay. Most of them are English.
I believe so, yes.
Right. Well, I've got 2 in mind already.
We'll start off with the obvious. You can have your 3 lives each, so 6 lives total.
Yeah.
And then if you get the first 9 with ease, I take away a couple of your lives to make it more tense.
All right. So, do you want me to start? We'll have a chat through. Surely, we'll just start with Shearer, the top goal scorer.
I'll give you Shearer. Shearer had 324 goal contributions, 260 goals, 64 assists in 427 starts.
Which place was he?
Number 1.
Oh, fucking hell. I'm going to go with Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Rooney is your number 2, 308 goal contributions, 208 goals, 100 assists in 421 starts.
Okay.
He was all right, wasn't he?
Not bad, not bad. Was that a clue?
Yeah. You can say his name. I've forever washed it out of my mouth.
Do you want me to say my name? Of course. Was it Stevie G?
Yeah, I knew who you were going for. I just did not pick that up at all from what you were doing. So Stevie G is 11th.
Oh.
Stevie G had 210 goal contributions in 504 games.
Right.
This could set an age-old debate.
Frank's got to be on there.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. Who was better?
Frank Lampard has 279 goal contributions. He's in 3rd place, 177 goals and 102 assists in 609 games.
Okay.
So he had 100 more games. I mean, let's be fair.
All right, I've got one. And it's going to be a non-English player as well.
All right.
I'm going to go for Thierry Henry.
Thierry Henry is 7th, 249 goal contributions in 258 games.
Is there any more non-English players there?
Is there a Welsh player?
Three non-English players left.
Oh, I think I've got one.
Is there a Welsh player?
There is a Welsh player.
Was he talking about him being linked to the Cardiff job?
We were, yes.
Does he have the same surname as a certain hip hop artist? Eminem.
Yeah, Ryan Giggs, 272 goal contributions in 632 games. So he played the most games on this list. And he's only in 4th place. You've got the top 4 and 7th place.
Okay. Right, I've got one in mind. I'm scared. I mean, I'm thinking of like Steven Gerrard. I mean, how many appearances has he made? And he was only 11.
504.
Like the one I've got in mind is a hero who gave us, hands down, the greatest goal in Premier League history. Ask Martin Tyler.
I don't know you're talking about.
An Argentinian striker.
All right. Yeah, he scored a lot of goals.
He did.
The guy that I'm guessing there will be an Argentine on there, but I'm just wondering if his predecessor, with his time at United and City, had more goal contributions.
Oh, that's a good shout. Are we missing an obvious one with CR7?
No, I don't think he had a couple of good seasons, but I think he really exploded when he got to Madrid.
Andy
I don't think he had the I don't think he had the longevity. I had someone in mind, but they've completely left me now. It was another foreign player, but
so you have 2 foreigners left and 3 English left.
I think there might be one pretty recent. Mo Salah has scored a shit ton of goals.
Yeah, and he would have
I think
as well.
I think it's a toss-up really between Carlos Tevez, Aguero, and Salah. Whose turn is it? I don't even know. Is it yours? We've got lives, haven't we? So pitch one.
Let's go Salah.
All right, Salah is 8th, 234 goal contributions, 161 goals, 73 assists, only 270 games. He is not the lowest on the list, though. That was Henry. So he was in 8th, yeah.
Is there an Argentinian on the list?
There is, yes.
Right, so it's one or the other then.
Yeah. I think just from pure goals scored and that team that he was in, I think your Aguero shout is probably correct. So I'm going to say Sergio Aguero. We may never see anything like this ever again.
Drink it in.
Sergio Aguero has 231 goal contributions, 184 goals, 47 assists, and in 275 games.
Happy days.
So nothing but English players by my count. And you only have 3 left to guess. So I think I'm going to take 2 of your lives away.
That's not very kind.
That still gives you 3 lives for 3 players.
What numbers are we looking for?
The 2 that are tied in 5th place and the 1 in 10th place.
2 tied in 5th place and 1 in 10th.
Yeah, I think we're looking for longevity now when we come to English players, but not crazy longevity. I don't think it's like Gareth Barry and stuff like that. So I think you're right. Going down like
James Milner or someone.
Teddy Sheringham, Andy Cole,
Paul Scholes.
He's played a lot of games. I don't think he's scored.
Yeah, he hasn't scored at the
buckets. I'm trying to think of like wingers. Like Beckham, how long was he there?
Beckham,
a lot of corners, a lot of free kicks. Yeah. I don't think he would have got into. There's loads of them floating around, like Joe Cole, but I don't think he would have. Obviously, a great player, but I don't think he would have done enough. How many lives have we got now then?
3 lives left.
3 lives left.
3. It's you, isn't it, Mark? Because I said Aguero.
No, yeah, it is. Okay. I'm going to try, just based off of the goals he scored at Newcastle, and when him and Dwight York linked up, and I imagine they set each other up quite a fair bit. I'm going to go Andy Cole.
Andy Cole is one of your tied 5th, 260 goal contributions. He had 187 goals, 73 assists, and played 414 games.
Fucking clutch, mate.
I think there is an obvious one we're missing.
Now that
I think he plays in Munich now. Harry Kane.
That's a fucking great shout.
I'm going to say Harry Kane. I can't say it like him with his list, but that's what I'm going to say.
Harry Kane tied 5th, 260 goal contributions, 213 goals, 47 assists, 320 games.
So we're looking for number 8.
Number 10. Number 10 left.
We've got 3 lives.
How many appearances?
418 appearances.
418 appearances.
350 starts.
Oh, I was going to say it feels like a Teddy Sheringham. It doesn't with that amount of starts.
How many goals?
146 goals.
146 assists?
76. So 222 goal contributions.
It's got to be a striker then, isn't it?
Yeah, doesn't feel like a Scholes. He doesn't feel like a Beckham.
Heskey.
Doesn't feel like a Michael Owen. How long was he there? No, I don't think
he was only at Liverpool, 4 or 5 seasons?
Jamie Vardy? Would he have scraped in? How long's he been there?
Oh, he's been there a while. But
Can we know if they're a current player, or is that too much with 3 lives to go?
With 1 player and 3 lives, I think that's too much of a giveaway at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's you, innit?
You know who also crossed my mind? Danny Welbeck.
That's a great reaction from Mayhem. We've lost him.
Just thinking of English strikers. It can't be Ollie Watkins. Can't be
Jay
Andy
Bothroyd.
Tony. Jay Bothroyd, what a shagger, man.
Francis Jeffers.
Mate, if it's Danny Welbeck, do you know how fucking ridiculous that would be?
I'll tell you, it might be. And again, I've got to wash my mouth out with him. Jermaine Defoe.
Oh, yes. That's it. That's got to be it.
Is that your guess?
Yeah, Jermaine Defoe.
Jermaine Defoe was 15th on the list. 195 goal contributions.
See, that was a really valiant guess, actually.
Peter Crouch is in the 100 club.
Yeah, Crouchy could be there.
I don't think he scored that many goals though. 146 is a lot of goals.
In 400 odd appearances.
I mean, they're in the 100 club, man. We should get this. I'm just going to say Jamie Vardy because I'm drawing a blank.
Jamie Vardy was 19th in the list, 181 goal contributions.
Ooh.
So, to make things a bit easier for you, I will now answer the question if they're still playing or not, if you would like me to.
Are they still playing?
No.
Alright, they're retired. Crouchy's a shout.
I don't think he got that many.
Ricky Lambert.
I don't think you said 146 goals, didn't you?
146 goals.
I mean, I could be talking us out of it here completely, but I don't think he got that many.
He didn't
Teddy
score
Sheringham was at United too long. I don't think he had that many starts. He obviously was at Spurs as well.
Spurs, West Ham.
He had a great time at Colchester. Had a brilliant away day there once, absolutely abusing him and some ginger kid taking a penalty shooter.
What's the score? Ginger, what's the score? I still watch that clip. Hey, he's moving it closer for them.
There's like rogue names coming to mind now, like Darren Bent. But
Daniel Sturridge.
That's rogue. Because, I mean, barring that time at Liverpool, he was utterly dog shit.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't have been him. I don't think he would have scored that many in, 4 or 5 seasons at Liverpool?
Yeah, I just don't think he would have had that amount of appearances either.
Yeah,
300
exactly.
starts is a lot.
He was a young boy at Man City, didn't feature a lot for Chelsea.
Robbie Fowler?
Oh, that's got to be it, isn't it?
I think that's about as much as I can muster. I think that's my best shot. The god in Merseyside, unless you're blue, I guess. I'm gonna go. Who is it? We just say it together then.
Robbie
We
Fowler.
settled on that.
Yeah.
Robbie Fowler.
Robbie Fowler.
It is not Robbie Fowler. Robbie Fowler was 12th with 202. I think you boys talked yourself out of it. It was Teddy.
It was Teddy.
Oh.
Nah.
And I can confirm that he did play for West Ham while they were in the Prem because I went to one of their games.
Oh, okay.
It was the starts, man. The starts.
Yeah, no, to be fair, he has the biggest gap between the number of games played and the number of starts. So he has been used as a substitute more than anyone else on the list. But
Yeah.
oh, actually, no, that's a lie. Ryan Giggs had over 100. Ignore me.
Right.
Right, well, there we go. You've won again.
Yeah.
You beat us. But there we go. That is us.
That's a tough one to take.
That was a tough one to take. So we're going to have to dust ourselves down and get...
Do remember that I took 2 lives away from you as well. If you had those 2 lives, I think you would have easily got it.
Well, I don't know. Because like you said, we kind of... I guess perhaps we could have ended up...
Eventually, I think. Yeah, eventually we would have just run out of ideas. But yes.
So who's the
roll us into the roll us into the outro, Morg. I gotta go.
Absolutely. Boys, thank you very much for this evening. Good to see you both, and looking forward to next week already. Ladies and gents, thank you very much for tuning in. If you are new to the Football Podcast, you can check us out on all audio platforms, including Spotify and Apple. If you're watching us over on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, ring that bell for notifications. Until next time, ladies and gents, I bid you all good night and a star.